Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Whether you're joining us from Conyers, Georgia, or from Georgetown in Guyana, from Washington, D.C., welcome in the ring. We're going to ring that bell one more time to bring you folks in. Let's fight Brianna Mingo, Naldo Grant. Let's fight Edward Brooms, Marcy Agard. Let's fight Debbie Apple, let's fight. Good to have you folks on with us. Rashley Ford, gotta watch. Good to have you, Stacey and Soul and Deborah Leach. Chef Tony is on with us. Let's fight, Chef Tony. Dolores Denny is here as well. Folks, good to see each and every one of you from the many places that you are joining us from this evening. Share the live, smash that emoji button. Good folks, come, let's go down the road. Run and down. Good to have each and every one of you on the line with us tonight. Marcia Fordyce is here. Dan Abrams is here. Angela Jordan. Angela, thanks for the thing. Thanks for the thing. For the folks in Georgia, thanks for the thing. The folks there in Conyers, Georgia, thanks for the thing. Spragbets, Beatrice Selby. Good to have you, Beatrice. And all the other folks. Joan Ramashendo. Good to have you, Joan and John Wolford, Vanilla Garnett, Utiline. Good to have you, Wilton Blue. How are you folks doing? Wherever you're joining us from around the world, whether you're in Conyers, you're in Georgetown, whether you're in Washington, D.C. We're going to see you guys next week, Washington. See you next week, Vanessa Brewster, and all the other folks joining us. You a little slow. Slower than others, folks. We're big and slow, but we got sense. Big slow, but we got sense. Good to have each and every one of you here with us. We had a long weekend. We had a long weekend from Conyers back to the Carolinas. We had a long, fantastic weekend. Good to have all of you on the live. Spoiled Queen, good to have you here on the live tonight. Alison Bennett, good to have you on the live tonight as well. And Sandra Batiste and the hundreds of you are now joining us. Great to have each and every one of you on the live. We're not going to start until we are shared to all of the right places, good folks. So share that live, smash that emoji button for us, folks, and let's go. We got some ways to go. So let's have a go at it. Maxine Still is here. Laverne, Harry Chiran, Kelman Pusad. Folks, that's one person, you know. One person. Enid Miggins, Camille Cox in Region 6. Good to have you, Camille. Pull up your Dr. Pepper tonight. Pull up a slice of pizza. Come have dinner with us, folks. And let's bring you up to scratch with some of what you've been missing during the course of the day. We're happy that you wonderful folks are here with us. Beatrice and Brian and John. Sheena Hazel is here with us as well. And Irma and Claudine. Claudine, thanks for the thing. Claudine Rose Duqua. Good to have you, Claudine, on the live tonight. Nicola Bess, Alvin Fraser, Bella Mona, Paulette. Y'all be like Claudine, man. Claudine said, I done share already. I done share. Thank you, Claudine. You waiting. Quick on the drop. Quick on her feet. Nicola Bess. Y'all be like Claudine, man. Andrew, be like Claudine, man. Please and thank you. Dolores Denny, Andrew Cuthbert, Pauline, and all the other folks, Renella, Gail, Wendy, Denise Booker. Share the live, good folks. Smash that emoji button for us. We got a far way to go this evening, but we're happy that you folks are here with us. Folks, when we finish tonight, you're going to tell us if Guyana is a real place or not. You're going to be able to tell us whether it's a real place. Stacey and Stoll from Port Kaituma. Good to have you, Stacey, and hope you and the young ones are great. Spurry Lee, Roxanne Odessa Jacob, Zoan Stott. Good to have you, Zoan, and Ethelene Peters, and Candyline Indridit, Alvin Fraser, Osman Hodge, Penelope Hudson is here as well, folks. We are happy, we are delighted that so many of you are joining us this evening. Leon Logan, Cassandra Keeler, we hope that you guys are hearing us clearly. We hope at least you see me a little clearish. Roxanne Garraway, Charmaine Audrey, Joylyn Lennox, Leon Blair, Ethelene, and all the other folks. Rhonda Gordon, all the other folks joining us. We are 4 minutes in, folks. 1,500 of you are on the line. already. Magnell Barrow inclusive. June Jeffers inclusive. Rowena Cummins inclusive. Good to have you, Rowena Cummins. Good to see you on the live tonight. Janelle is here as well. Johnson. Shalanda is here as well, folks. How are you all doing, man? How was your weekend? We had a fantastic weekend in Conyers, Georgia. We had a fantastic weekend with the folks there. To all of the folks who joined us in Conyers this weekend, folks, thank you so much for coming out, for showing up and showing up. You all will be coming to Washington, D.C. next week, folks. Next week, this time, we are throttling down. You see, wheels up early in the day, but next week, this time, we are going to be in Washington live, God willing, from Washington, D.C. But good to have all of you here, folks. Share the live, smash that emoji button, partner with us. It is your partnership, your subscription to our program that keeps us going from point A to point B. You all brought us from the 592 into the 864, and then we're moving on. Where was the area code for Washington? Who lives in Washington? What is the area code there? We're moving on, good folks, to Washington next week. Final stop, wheels up to our final stop, folks, in Washington, D.C. next week. That conference, the Washington Conference in Guyana, is coming up, folks, hosted by the Caribbean Guyana Institute of Democracy, led by Rickford Burke and those allied organizations that's in partnership with them to pull off this event. And you know, they've been making a lot of headlines, folks. The conference is a week off. It's a week off from today, and it's already making lots and lots of headlines. We're going to be bringing you ball by ball commentary, folks, from that conference in Washington, D.C. Next week, this time, we are preparing, we are prepping to bring you all of the details out of that conference, the Washington Conference on Democracy. Folks, so share the live, partner with us, folks, smash that emoji button. Your love, your generosity is what keeps us going, folks. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, 3 years in, bringing you guys valid and credible information, and we're loving all of it. So this is what we'll be up to. Well, folks, next week, the fight card, we set, the fight card set. Folks, we got a couple things to talk about. Not all of them nice, but we got to get through them nonetheless, folks. We got to get through them nonetheless. Lots on the fight card tonight. Policia. You're taking the Spanish thing. Very, very serious in the school. Uncle Gardner having it. Policia. We're going to be talking about that, what's happening with statement construction, especially with that project in Linden. We're going to be talking about that too, folks. And then we're going to talk a little bit about why he's still occupying office here on borrowed time right now, based on what Starbucks News is telling us, and based on the fact of the matter, folks. If you want to turn 200 plus million US into 3 million, talk with Vikram. Folks on the Starbucks News said Vikram knows and should know how to turn 217 plus million US into 3 million US. Yep, lots happening in oil and gas. So we got some things to talk about Vikram. And then, folks, very, very sad, we got to talk about this young lady who they said is a pharmacist residing in Mocha. My Lord. What happened to June? What tipped her over the edge? You just don't know. These days, good folks, you just don't know what's going down with people. That's why you got to check in so often with people, you know, and take some time for yourself. Gentle with yourself. So we say around these parts. Some of the things we're covering tonight, folks, on the fight card. But you all know, if you know how the fight card goes, good folks, the opener. Folks, I love Irfan. You all call the piece and put it out. I love him. He's a gift. A big gift, but a gift nonetheless. Sometimes how we operate, you feel Irfan a little too tightly wrapped. little too tightly wrapped. He's a gift. Folks, Irfan is a gift that keeps on giving. For a content creator like the eye, folks, love him. Love him. I could cover the presidency alone. And we got content for 3 hours every evening. Irfan is a gift. And I'm ringing the bell one time for him tonight. One time for him tonight. Irfan fell up for this presidency thing, you know. He fed up. He is fed up. He's not cut out to, and he understands that. And he keeps telling us on a daily basis, folks, he ain't like it. He ain't like this work. Right? He said he ain't like it. He ain't like the work. Every day we see Irfan trying out for different things. Trying out. One day trying to be a cricketer. Next day trying to do something. Trying out. And he winking for an intervention from us all the time. But we're not taking the fella on. We're not taking the fella on. Folks, we are 10 minutes in, 2,600 people around the world watching us. Folks, I don't know how much watching me on Facebook alone right now. You all might know, but collectively, 2,600 folks watching us. Share the live, smash that emoji button, folks. We gotta go, we gotta go. Irfan has been testing out. We spot him recently. Country in free fall. Economy going up. Cost of living. You know. Crime up. Everything up. Except Kwame. You can't even say that about Anil these days. Kwame by itself. Everything up except Kwame. And we see Irfan trying out the pressure, you know. Fire the work, Irfan. Fire the work, the opener. Irfan trying out for another job. Another job. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Give him the work that he wants. Please and thank you. Give him the work he wants. The opener. Brief.
Galang. Hey. Put them glasses again.
Galang. Put them glasses in the air. Galang. Folks, you gotta love Irfan. We love him. The man is trying out for something else. Pressure. Bust pipe. Pressure make water go hill. The man is trying to tell us something, but we're not listening. We're not hearing. Put one hand in the air. Put it.
Galang. Hey. Put them glasses again.
Zip. I love it.
Galang. Hey. Put them glasses again.
Yeah. Folks, I love it. He's a gift. That's why I tell you. He's a gift. You see? So your parents instruct you to go out there and live your best life. And them boys doing the own thing on the other side. On the own thing. A school in Linden, the Bamia secondary school, that was supposed to take 20 months. Now looks like it can take 20 years. You know why? You know why it can take 20 years, good folks? Who vexed? Folks, if you're happy tonight, put your hand in the air.
Galang. Hey. Put them glasses again.
So Irfan presides over an education system where this contract was awarded to a company called Statement. But a young man from Starbuck News is telling us, Joseph Allen, I think is his name, that Statement not doing what Statement is supposed to do. This contract in Region 10, in Linden, in an area called Bamia, the Bamia Primary School, was to take, they tell us, 20 months to construct. Right? 2 months over the schedule. And hear what this young journalist out of Starbuck News tells us. It should have been completed under the controversial contract given to entertainers and sportsmen. Friends, family, and favorites. The building has no roof. This is Stabrook News journalist Joseph Allen reporting. The building has no roof. And the RDC, the Regional Democratic Council, led by Darren Adams, said if it was up to them, they would have terminated this contract. The building has no roof. The building of this contract given to sportsmen and entertainers. Joseph Allen reporting for Stabrook News says the building 2 months over the deadline. It ain't got no roof. It doesn't have any roof. This is not up to AMC. This is not New Nation. This is not the key. This is Stabrook News reporting. Stabrook News goes on to say in this report, you see, we are unbiased. If anybody buys a Stabrook News said they reached out to the manager, let me get it correctly, the notation, the person that they reached out to, right? They reached out to Statement Investment. They didn't say who, the contractor. Stabrook News says it reached out to the contractor, Statement Investment. And here what they say about the completion of the school, right? Stabrook News was told that the works are still progressing and are expected to be completed within another couple of months. That is what statement says. It is scheduled to be completed in another couple of months. Yes, in another couple of months. And I don't know if the man that should be holding their feet to the fire, looking for work with them himself, because we caught up with him recently, Irfan Ali, trying to get an answer out of him. Why this contract taking so long? This was his response.
Galag. Hey, 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 hey. Put them glasses again.
That was his response to the question, when will this contract be completed? Put on and in the air, quote unquote. Still to be completed. Yeah. 2 months past the schedule. It's in a couple months' time. It's going to be completed. The roof of the building has not gone on as yet. Walls are still missing. Folks, Joseph Allen, again, reporting for Stabrook News, says that this contract should have been completed. This controversial contract was given to entertainers and sportsmen, friends, family, and favorites. Friends, family, and favorites. That's how it's going down on that side. And while Irfan was busy in giving his own responses to queries, folks, other issues that we're tracking in the 592, this chairman, folks, out of an NDC under quarantine and controlled by the PPP, folks, his pocketry. What will the local government commission do? What would they do? Folks, I news. And I'm calling the names of the organization because I want y'all say it's these rabble-rousers from APNU AFC. I have a program, I never said the APNU AFC program, but y'all associate it to a party. You see how some of y'all stay? So the issue is, a chairman of an NDC, we need some dramatic music. I tell you all, the PPP has an affinity with the dead. The PPP has an affinity with the phantom, with phantoms rather. They have an affinity with them because, good folks, here is this chairman. Let me get the reporting right. Out of an NDC, a Neighborhood Democratic Council on the quarantine, good folks, he allegedly has employed at least 2 government part-time workers unknown to them. These government part-time workers don't even know they're employed with the region, with the RDC. How is that possible? How is that possible? Well, apparently, the chairman for this NDC at John's Port Morant has been pocketing this money. Quarantine. This is heartland for them boys. And according to iNews, it is alleged that this NDC created these phantom workers, and he has been pocketing this money. Well, folks, it just got a little interesting. This NDC chairman for the Johns Port Morant NDC tell us, the folks are saying he has been pocketing this money, but this is where the story gets interesting. Because according to iNews, the issue was raised at a recent meeting of the Johns Port Morant NDC. It gets very interesting. There are reports, according to iNews, they're alleging the overseer at Forge has forged the signatures of these two persons purportedly. There's only two that they know about. Only two that they know about. Employed at the region, but not employed in the region. You know what people do it? Employed in the region, but not employed. You're signing forms for local government elections to nominate candidates to the PPP, but the people who sign in the bare ground. So the folks supposed to be working at the RDC, but they're not really working. You know the way the PPPs do it. So this matter came up at the NDC's recent meeting, and accordingly, they're saying signatures were forged, right, of these two persons who according to the reports, are employed by the Rose Hall Town municipality. It gets more interesting than that, folks. It gets even more interesting than that, because I want to show you who the PPP really be, who they is, and who they are. Hold on. It gets more interesting. Hold on. It gets more interesting because, according to iNews, they're saying that the regional commander, this is police story now, because if they got forgery, they got signatures being forged, money missing, money being paid, it's police matter. The police commander, senior superintendent, Shiv Prasad, Bacchus, he said no matter of forgery or embezzlement at the Johns Port Morant NDC has been brought to the attention of the police in Region 6. iNews quotes Shiv Prasad saying no matter has been brought to his attention. The chairman of the Neighborhood Democratic Council, one Vivman Armagon, he confirmed that the regional executive officer has informed them of the matter, but who is investigating the issue remains unclear. You think you understand friends, family, and favorites and how it operates? This is iNews. iNews says NDC councillors said at the RDC level, the overseer has been advised to repay the money. This is the Johns Port Morant NDC. Their councillors say the overseer has been advised to pay back this money that he's been paying out to these fictitious people, the phantoms, the friends, the family, the favorites, and the flatterers, the money that has been being paid to them. But the councillors said, this is wrong, and the regional office should not treat the matter so lightly. Should not treat the matter so lightly. So at the Johns Port Morant NDC, they got fictitious people who were working there. Everyone was approached for a comment. What is happening at John's, Irfan? This is a stone throw from Babu John. The dragons must be rolling in the grave with the corruption of the PPP. This was Irfan's response.
Galag. Hey. Put them glasses again.
Folks, that is just Port Morant, Johns, NDC. Let's come down to town for some action at the Ministry of Natural Resources. That news editorial today is recommended reading. Recommended reading, brothers and sisters. It's recommended reading. A report was leaked about an audit of some post-oil or pre-oil spending by the government. This is before we started pumping the thing. It's what the money it took to get us up to scratch, folks. And in this audit report, it was said that it had about 220 million US dollars that ExxonMobil should have really and truly been given to Guyana, because its spending could not really and truly be accounted for, and that Guyana had a good case to demand that this 220 million US dollars be paid over to Guyana. And we only knew about this audit when Stabrook News, the audit report. The government, up to that time, a few short months ago, had sat down on this audit report for 2 years. They had this audit report telling them that ExxonMobil was charging them for things that ExxonMobil could not account for, couldn't produce receipts for, amounting to $220 million. So the audit report says that Guyana had a good case to say to Exxon, pay over this money because you cannot account for how you spent it. Pay this money to Guyanese so we could have a nice time. So that we could have nice time. Folks, lo and behold, deep in the bosom of the Ministry of Natural Resources, headed by Vikram Bharat, there was an audit happening to audit that 220 million US dollars. And in that process, that audit said that Exxon really and truly only needed to pay 3 million US and not 220 million US dollars. Well, Stabrook News quite recently busted the whole bag. Stabrook News quite recently bust out the whole bag. Jack Dio ran out last week to say he know nothing but that, and how GRA is the only authority should be auditing ExxonMobil. That's what Jack Dio said. Quite recently, Vikram Bharat ran out himself to say he support what Jack Dio is saying, and he don't know why this audit team at the ministry that he is leading bring down 220 million US to merely 3 million US. And he was disavowing this team from his ministry that was re-auditing the audit of this 220 million US dollars, bringing it down to 3 million. Folks, Stabrook News in its editorial today, in its editorial headlined Audit Scandal. Good folks. Stabrook News, in its own deliberate judgment, says, and I want to quote them, upon the discovery of this chain of events, the head of the petroleum unit of the Ministry of Natural Resources should have immediately been dismissed. Should have been dismissed immediately. The editorial, this is Stabrook News today. It's not New Nation. It's not the key. Stabrook News said the head of the unit who was committing this illegality should have immediately been dismissed. In addition to that, the minister should have offered his resignation to Irfan Ali. 220 million US dollars was being reduced to 3 million. Bharat said he know what happened, even though he is the oil and gas czar. And then you had Vikram Bharat run out behind. Big Bharat, little Bharat run out behind and send support to Bharat saying, me know what this other team at my ministry doing. But nobody for the other team committing this illegality on a product of their own, auditing Exxon Mobil, engaging with executives at Exxon Mobil. Nobody has been fired. This reminds Guyanese of that situation with Sue. Y'all remember Sue? Sue, who brought such shame and disgrace to the vice president. Same Sue. Y'all remember? The VP said, I'm looking for Sue. And when I find Sue, I can sue him for slander, and I can sue him for libel. Whatever happened to that?
He gets all his support. Sue deals with all the agreements. I don't.
I understand.
The thing is that my thing is that I am in government.
I understand.
So I assist from government side.
I know.
That's it.
Sue interjected, telling us this wasn't the place to talk about the bribe.
因為佢由頭都係啦，即係我要知道，即係啲錢係入咗佢嗰度先得㗎。如果唔係，
Yeah. This is Sue all over again. Because Vikram said, you know, why this office within his ministry engaging Exxon and auditing this money. Bharat said, you know, it's up to GRA who has the final say. But nobody has been dismissed. Nobody has been terminated. Nobody has been locked up for this illegality. What Starbuck News called today an audit scandal. And while all of that is happening, folks, Irfan Ali, members of the media try to reach him on this audit scandal gripping the Ministry of Natural Resources. And Irfan Ali would only say to these allegations,
Galag. Hey. Put them down to the
busy at work. A man always hard at work for the Guyanese people. Hard at work. We don't have to go nowhere else tonight, folks. We got enough happening in the 592 to detain us. So we ain't going international. We ain't going regional. Because charity begins at home. What we could tell Trump? What we could tell Raul Lee or Mayor Motley? Please and thank you. Charity begins at home. And while the country's in free fall, folks, a baby left in the care of a sitter fell down, hit his head, and has been a patient at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation for the last few days, if not the last few weeks. And folks, today, very sadly, we learned that the baby had died. Y'all better be careful in whose hands y'all left for your children. You better be careful. Reports indicate that the police have detained a 28-year-old woman as part of this ongoing investigation into the death of 1-year-old Raheem Fung, who she was babysitting, as I said. The baby parents are Rhonda Courtwright and Kevin Fung, and they're both of Circuitville, Sue's Dyke, Linden Highway. They said, based on the busy schedule, they hired this 28-year-old woman to babysit the child. And as I said, reports indicate that the child fell down while in the care of the babysitter, hit his head, and the baby was on life support at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. Listen to this. Suffering from multiple head injuries. The baby died today. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Rhonda Courtwright and Kevin Fung. Folks, let justice be done. Let justice be done. That's all we're asking. Y'all better be careful. And who's scared? You're so eager for left your chair and run off. Please and thank you. Y'all better be careful. Our thoughts and prayers with the court rights and the funds. Yep. They be gone too soon. Much too soon, folks. In other news, you all remember this young man, 9-year-old Neil, who it is alleged his guardians, his parents, burnt him. You all remember that? They were subsequently arrested. Reports indicate that this young man, 9 years old, they tell us, Neil, has been fighting for his life. Both of his parents, well, the mother and her partner, they tell us, are in police custody for severely burning this 9-year-old from Enmore on the East Coast. And I saw some reports chronicling a lot of severe abuse of this 9-year-old boy. Again, according to information, the stepfather reportedly burned the child with gasoline last Thursday. And this was according to neighbors who reported this matter. The stepfather doused him with gasoline, burnt him. Thankfully, fighting for his life, 9-year-old Neil left today for overseas intensive care. Folks, Angelia again in free fall. Who vex? Who lead matters? Well, some of y'all are dancing up and carrying on. We got a country that needs leadership, you know. You can't fake it. You either got it or you ain't got it. You either have it or you ain't have it. We're so thankful for those folks who made the intervention. And this 9-year-old is going to get some of the kind of care, love, and support that he so desperately needs. Folks, if you have faith, you must say a prayer for young Neil. Let us say a prayer for him. See, Mother and Father, let justice be done. Please and thank you. Let justice be done. And who vex? There's something that really wants to say about the parents, but I can hold myself back. Some things I really want to say about the parents, but I can pause because I let me focus on Neil and getting Neil back to full health. Severely burned. How are you going to douse a child, a 9-year-old, with gasoline and light him on fire? What child could do to deserve that? What can a child do to deserve that? 9 years old. And he has to now negotiate the world. Who's these hogs? Who's these pigs? Now we got to deal with. Folks saying it's only finished there. The good book says, when these things are done, it's not the end. It's the beginning of sorrows. It's not the end, good folks. Of these hogs that we have. What could a child do that justifies at 9 a parent can douse him with gasoline, a guardian, a stepfather? Asquith, could you fathom that? Junan, Myrna Storr, could you fathom that? Evelina Whitaker, what could a 9-year-old do? That a father, stepfather is so intense, they can burn your life now. You see where we are? We want a day, a week, a month, a year, at least, a prayer for this country. Something is terribly wrong in the 592. Terribly wrong in the 592. You think it's finished there? Campbellville Secondary School. A young man is pictured in a video being stumped 1 inch outside the death, as we say colloquially. 1 inch outside of his life. His mother spoke up quite recently. Folks, the situation is quite interesting in this country. Begging for leadership. A country in free fall. Begging for leadership. And y'all buy your fun. Instead of providing guidance, y'all buy your fun playing to the gallery.
Galag. Hey, 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 put them glasses again.
Yeah, playing to the gallery. Irfan Muhammad, Muhammad Irfan Ali. He don't want to get down to the serious work of leadership. He finds himself distracted ever so often. The mother reported to the media some of what she knew about this situation that took place at the Camberville Secondary School here in Georgetown. Here, folks, hear this. Hold on. We'll come again. Hold on. You want to drink something strong for this here. You want to take something a little strong. Brace it over. Y'all remember the story? You want to brace it over. Share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button for us. Brace yourself. Brace it over. You're going to want to take a brace. You're going to want to take a brace. Here the mother. Here the mother said in this report. The child was recently involved in this fight at the new Camberville Secondary School. Right? Y'all remember that? Of where we saw the child being kicked in his head several times. The mother said since this time, the child has suffered a series of blackouts and seizure. A series of blackouts and seizure. And we saw in that video, I couldn't watch it. As big as I am, as hard as my heart is, I was a piece and I turned off some. It's some skin growing. You don't know how we said colloquially? It's some pores raised up. Watching that young man being kicked in his head and staggering to compose himself, to find his feet, staggering. His mother said, since the time he has suffered a series of blackouts and seizures. And here was the story. Brace it over. Here was the story in school. In a bad way. As the Trinity said, or is it the Antigons, or is it the Barbadians? We're in a bad way. And while we're looking for leadership, here for the hollering, put up on one. And showing gun symbols and all kinds of madness. We're in a bad way. Here the mother said to the media. The mother, 14-year-old, this 14-year-old student, new Camberville Secondary, speaking to Sabbath News, said her son is a third form student at the school. Third form. He's 14. She explained that her son and a cousin, a female cousin, attends the school. They attend the school. The 14-year-old told his mother that the female cousin and his combatant, the young man that kicked him up in his head, shared a relationship. He tell his mother, the female cousin and the young man, the combatant, shared a relationship. On Wednesday last, the cousin began crying. And moments after, the 14-year-old said, moments after, the combatant said something to her. He asked his cousin what was wrong, but she refused to answer. And so he approached the combatant and asked what the issue was. But the boy responded, lover boy responded, don't ask me nothing. Yeah, don't ask me nothing. The 14-year-old told his mother, listen to this story now gets sweet. The 14-year-old told his mother he attempted to leave after the boy refused to answer and was shoved down by 3 of the other boys who were with him. And it's on that cue they began kicking him in his head. It is on that cue they began kicking him in his head. A lot of distractions around these parts. They began kicking him in his head. They're in school. He's in a relationship that has her crying. He's trying to find out why she's crying. Don't ask me nothing. If you beaten at 14 and 15, in a bad way. If you stamping people in the head that have them having seizures, as the mother said, several seizures since that time, and a series of blackouts. We're in a bad way, folks. We're in a bad way. And whole nation is looking for leadership. And the president out there, put up on one. We're in a bad way, folks. We're in a bad way. A whole nation in free fall, looking for leadership. And if finally,
Galag. Hey. Put them down to the bear.
I fed up. Like I won't give up. I won't give up. 9-year-old Daniel Yearwood also goes as Daniel D'Souza from the reports we're seeing. Lost his life over the weekend. Struck down on the Dazzle Housing Scheme, Public Road, 12th Street. Struck down on the road there. Why? Because a 16-year-old stole his father's car, went on a joyride. And no sooner had he left his home, the 16-year-old with the stolen vehicle, this tragic accident happened. Again, this is Dazzle Housing Scheme on the East Coast. Reports are that young D'Souza, another 9-year-old, was walking to church. When he stopped to tie his shoelaces, that was his final stop. He was struck by this car, says that dragged him for a short distance before plunging into a nearby trench. The child was picked up and rushed to the nearby hospital and pronounced dead on arrival. That teenage driver has since been taken into custody, and the police are said to be investigating this matter. Young Daniel D'Souza, a brief walk from his home to where the church was, his mother told the media, cost him his life. His cousin said that they stopped at the bridge. They were on the bridge while Daniel was tying his laces. His only fault that he stopped on that bridge while this car came careening, seemingly almost out of nowhere. Death for Daniel D'Souza. Death for Daniel Yearwood. Folks, the carnage on our roads and waterways continue, almost unabated. Country again, looking for leadership, finding only a vacuum. Nothing at the top. Nothing at the top. People who should be dedicating their life and time for making our roadways safe. You see? Creating policies to educate and penalize where necessary. Put upon one. That's what they're involved in. You know, the police recently, talking about what's happening on our roads, released some staggering statistics over the last few days. They're telling us that the traffic department says in the last week alone, they made 2,200 plus, made out 2,200 plus traffic cases, traffic offenses, of which 600 652 were related to speeding. 652 in 1 week related to speeding. Now, little 2x4 country, 55 of those were persons driving under the influence, inebriated, drunk, tight. 55 of those, 652. And it's just the last week. Issues of speeding. Slow down, folks, on our roadways so we can arrive alive. Slow down. Slow down. We have a crisis on our roads. A crisis. That young man that took his father's vehicle was unlicensed. We got a crisis on our roads that seriously need to be addressed. Looking for people at the helm. We find only a vacuum. Daniel Rupchan, 21 years old, left for work in Georgetown, left for work in the East Bank. Daniel family said they didn't see back since. Days now, and they're very worried. Daniel hails from Saudi on the Essequibo coast, and his family told the media that they're growing increasingly worried about his whereabouts. Left home on Sunday, September 10th, hasn't been seen since. According to his mother, Stacy Putkal, she received information last week that her son, who relocated to work in Mocha on the East Bank, was missing. So she called his boss, who said that he left to buy some items in the market. And when he came back to the location, Daniel was gone, and he has not been seen or heard from since. Daniel, as I said, Daniel Rupchan, 21 years old, hails from Saudi, gone missing. I told you all as we started, you would have to tell us whether Guyana is a real place. When you look at some of what we have to deal with on a daily basis in the news, is Guyana a real place? Which brings us to the story of this pharmacist from Mocha, Daniel Rupchan, missing, works in Mocha. Now we have the issue of this other story out of Mocha. This young woman, lots of folks look at her. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She got life in London. But did we really know? Did we really know some of the things that bedeviled her? Did we really know? Lots of folks are scratching their heads this evening, wondering what really happened in those last moments of the life of June Diabru of Mocha. Lots of folks are very unclear what happened to June and Diabru. Her son, they tell us, found her unresponsive. And lots of notes were sent to family members and to friends, which seem to suggest that June Diabru, young woman, barely begun to live her life, took her own life. June Diabru of Mocha. Folks, she wrote to one friend. She wrote a message to her son, Shaquan. The day my eye close, life will be hard and challenging for you. I can only hope that you take into initiative everything I have told you and shown you. Those are the last words to her son, Shaquan. The day my eyes close, life will be hard and challenging for you. I can only hope that you take into initiative everything I have told and shown you. We told her son, just 15. To my bestie, my day one from primary to now, every birthday, bestie, I'ma miss you. And I know you love me. That's a message to her. Bestie. To the guys I have loved unconditionally, who had me questioning my worth, asking if I was good enough, I left Earth knowing I was, and even more. These are some of the notes she left to her son, her bestie, the guys she said she loved unconditionally, who left her questioning her worth. I left Earth, she says, knowing I was enough and even more. Another message she left says, no flowers, please. I never received any while alive. Don't bring any for my death. Those are the words in the closing chapter of this young life of June Diablo, a pharmacist, they say, who hailed from Makkah, who was found dead, unresponsive by her son over the weekend. Don't bring no flowers. I never received any in my life. That's what she said. Her thoughts and prayers are with her family. What a sad end. What a sad end. Her thoughts and prayers are with her family. You remember the millions I told you folks missing? Or that they tried to diminish? That might be a better way of putting it. Exxon was supposed to account for 220 million US dollars that they say they racked up, getting us to production, getting us to oil production, and that we would have to pay them back. That audit report says Guyana had a good case to say that that money rightfully belonged to us from our oil revenues. 220 million, not Guyana dollars, US dollars. And that Vikram Bharat's ministry, the Ministry of Natural Resources, they sought quite recently to bring that figure down to 3 million US dollars. Vikram said he no lot mother. Jack Dio, the oil and gas czar, so he no lot mother neither. What that department there was doing is in effect an illegality. Nobody has been held responsible for that travesty. And Big Uncle Gordon today pointed out the bus that transports custom staff to and from the airport every day. You got a big piece of plastic at the backlash with some industrial strength tape. There it is. A big gray plastic lash the back. Fastest growing economy in the world. High income country. Biggest GDP. And this is how, thanks to Gordon, we know GRA transporting the staff. And they got a couple of people working with Exxon in the ministry, getting some kickback to bring down $220 million to 3 million US. Nobody is held responsible. I told you of the overseer at the Johns Port Morant NDC who got fictitious people on the payroll. Who is not going to be held responsible? Friends, family, and favorites. Big Uncle Gordon want to know what happened with the police force. He said police is an internationally recognized word. And who gave them the authority to go from police to policia When did we decide on this? Some of the questions that he raised this morning in some photographs we saw splashed across social media. When did we decide we're going to rebrand all of these vehicles from police to policia? Folks, it's up to you. Each of you. I said, y'all have to decide tonight if Guyana is a real place. It's up to each and everyone to come to the conclusion. Real place or not? Us, at this end, that's our time. Good folks. And that's our program. Yeah. That's my time. And that's my program. While all of that happening, all of that. You're from? Where from there?
Galag. Hey.
Good to see you folks, and thanks for joining our broadcast. Stanley, George, and Wayne, and Andrew Griffith, Pat Wills, and I see we got Angela Jordan with us as well still, Gwyneth Anderson, Jennifer Griffith. Thank you folks. The thousands of you, over 4,000 of you joined our broadcast around the world tonight, and we are privileged. Good folks, we are humbled by that. Good to see all of you. Smash that emoji button before you go. Those of you going to be coming back to our broadcast. Good folks, share the live too and partner with us. We are counting our days before we head on off to Washington, D.C. to that international conference, folks, that Washington conference on Guyana, beginning on the 27th and 28th. Folks, so we're looking towards that while we ride out this week. Renee McKenzie Talbot, Enid Miggins. We see you, beautiful, wonderful folks. Thanks for joining us, each and every one of you from around the world. As I said, folks, that's going to do it for us at this end. That's our time. And that's our program.